it. But
No,
I
I
do want
just
to, I
use it.
want to throw this from like a little different perspective, because
Yeah.
as you guys were talking, I was thinking about, there was a time in my life where somebody had like a unrealistic expectation of me, that then when I found out, it was like unreal. It was going through this really tough postpartum recovery. And I think kind of what we have talked about several times in this podcast is that it's easy to kind of put on like a show of like who you are and not
Yeah.
be really honest
Mhm.
with how you're actually doing. And that's what I was kind of surviving that postpartum season by the hair on my
Pretending.
chinny chin chin,
Yeah.
like, and I had a friend like talk to me about how disappointed she was in me, because she had this like really I feel like a really unrealistic expectation that I would be like attending like hiking events that she was putting on. And I had to kind of tell her, like, because maybe in the past I would have shown up to things that people were putting on. And I had to tell her, like, friend, like, I'm hanging on, but I'm not doing well. Like, I'm not really able to attend these right now. Like, in the evening, I have to be with my husband because I'm panicking. Like, things are not well for me. And it was interesting to like, I mean, she's a delightful human and all is well, but it was interesting to be on the receiving end of that and feel like people didn't know your heart. They kind of lost like perspective in their own hurt. And I think sometimes that's where like these kind of unrealistic expectations are, is like we are ourselves like feeling an intense emotion and we kind of lose perspective on like
Mhm.
the bigger
Right.
picture, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe she was hurt that I wasn't supporting her hiking, but like the bigger picture was I was drowning and I'm sorry she was hurting or hurt that I didn't support that. Or maybe that picture is mom, like you're overworked. And so it's hard to
Mhm.
come out and see somebody on their iPad, but maybe the intention
Mhm.
wasn't there to be annoying. And so like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I just feel like some of this is like communicating, like when we start to feel that like
Yep.
it's like devastating to ourself, is like maybe a few
Absolutely.
steps before that we communicate
Mhm.
if we can, like,
Mhm.
hey, like it would be really important if you went on this hike, instead of after the fact like you're a terrible friend, you
Mhm.
haven't been on these hikes. And it
Mm.
like made me feel, I felt devastated hearing that, because I was like,
Yeah.
I was hanging on, like doing the best I could,
Mhm.
and anyway, so
I
I don't know,
remember I
sort
remember
through all
that.
that for me.
Yeah, I remember that, Katie. I remember that time when that happened to you, and you truly were struggling, and that was, it was almost like, wow, now, you're struggling, and now this hurt you, that
Sure, yeah. It was
you
the kind
you
of a
know
nail in the coffin of feeling like a
Yeah.
failure, like, and obviously, like, a lot of that was myself, like, but it just kind of felt like my husband is feeling me, my kids are feeling this failure, and now my friends are feeling the failure. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think obviously I was struggling, so none of that was true.
Mhm.
But it is
Mhm.
kind of like, I think maybe even in our struggle with confrontation and our struggle with being honest and real, this happens.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
if we could, as people of God, talk to each other before we get
Mhm.
Yeah.
pointing
To
fingers.
that.
Your support means so much. Like, comment, share, and subscribe so we can keep growing this community together.